Okay, so welcome to another deep dive, and today's topic is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, so our amazing listeners, have sent in a ton of stuff, and it all kind of revolves around these like super mysterious objects, from history and how they make us rethink like everything we thought we knew about the past.
Totally. Yeah, we're not just talking about like some cool pottery or something, right?
Mm,
These are objects that challenge our understanding of ancient civilizations, like their capabilities, their knowledge, even.
yeah, it's like almost like finding a smartphone in like a Viking burial mound or something.
Exactly. It just throws everything we thought we knew out the window.
So we've got 5 of these historical head scratchers lined up, ready to dive into.
Let's do it.
All right, so first up we have the Antikythera mechanism.
Ah, yes, the Antikythera mechanism.
So this thing was discovered back in 1901, I think, and it's basically this crazy complex ancient Greek device, like from the 2nd century BCE.
BCE.
Wow. Yeah. And get this, it's basically considered like the first analog computer, like it was used to calculate all sorts of astronomical events.
It's incredible, really. Like a clockwork model of the cosmos.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So the big question here is, how did they have this kind of tech back then? Like, how did they even conceive of it, let alone build it? What does that tell us about ancient Greek ingenuity and their understanding of science and math and all that?
Well, the thing is, the level of precision engineering and astronomical knowledge demonstrated in the Antikythera mechanism, it's just mind-blowing. We don't really see anything comparable until like the 14th century with the development of those really complex astronomical clocks.
Wow, that's a huge gap.
Right. It's like they were centuries ahead of their time in terms of their understanding of astronomy and their ability to translate that understanding into a physical working machine.
Yeah, imagine that, like gears meshing together to predict eclipses and track the movements of planets centuries before anyone else even came close.
It really forces us to rethink what we assume about the limits of ancient Greek technology and their contribution to later scientific thought.
Absolutely. Okay, so moving on from ancient Greece to ancient Mesopotamia, we've got the Baghdad battery.
Oh, yeah, this one is a classic.
Right. It's like one of those things that just makes you go, what if?
Definitely. It really sparks the imagination.
So for those who aren't familiar, we're talking about these clay jars that were found containing copper cylinders and iron rods,
And the theory is that these could have been ancient galvanic cells.
like batteries.
Exactly, like a primitive form of battery. And if that's the case, then we're talking about ancient electricity.
Which is just wild to think about. Like,
Yeah.
were they using this for practical purposes? Were they experimenting with electricity for its own sake? It really throws a wrench in our traditional timeline of technological development.
No doubt. And while we still don't have conclusive proof that these batteries were actually used to generate electricity, the way they're constructed is really suggestive. You've got a copper cylinder, the iron rod, and then they're separated by what some believe to be remnants of an acidic substance.
So all the elements are there for a basic battery.
Exactly. And even if it wasn't for generating electricity, it still points to a level of experimentation and scientific curiosity that we might not associate with civilizations that far back in time.
Right. It makes you wonder what else they might have been capable of.
Exactly. Okay, so for our next mystery, let's jump forward in time a bit to the early 15th century with the Voynich manuscript.
Ah, the Voynich manuscript. This was a real brain twister.
To say the least, it's like a linguistic enigma wrapped in a historical riddle.
For real. So we've got this entire book written in a script that is completely unknown. It's filled with these strange illustrations of plants and stars and these kind of like humanoid figures doing who knows what.
And despite countless attempts by some of the world's best cryptographers and linguists, nobody has been able to decipher a single word of it.
It's crazy, right? Like it's not just a few symbols here and there. It's hundreds of pages of this consistent but completely unfamiliar writing.
And those illustrations just add another layer of mystery to it all. They're often bizarre and unlike anything you'd find in other medieval manuscripts.
So was it a hoax?
Oh.
A secret code? A message from another dimension? I mean, the possibilities are kind of endless.
Well, it could have been a meticulously crafted hoax designed to fool people, or maybe it was a coded text concealing some profound scientific or philosophical ideas.
Or maybe it was something even weirder, like some kind of documentation from a completely lost civilization with its own unique language and system of thought.
Right. The fact that it's written on vellum using ink made from oak galls and iron salts, which was common in the medieval period, only deepens the mystery.
I know, it's not like they were using some alien ink or something. It just makes the whole thing even more baffling.
It suggests a deliberate act of creation, using common materials to produce something utterly unique and undecipherable.
All right, so let's shift gears again and talk about something a little more geographically grounded. the Puri race map.
Ah, yes, this map is a fascinating one.
So it was drawn in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral named Puri Reis, and it's famous for its incredibly accurate depictions of parts of the Americas. And get this, even Antarctica.
And this is supposedly before these areas were officially discovered and mapped by Western explorers.
Exactly. So the question is, how did Piri Reis have access to this level of detail centuries before it should have been available?
It's a great question. The max accuracy, especially when it comes to the depiction of the Antarctic coastline as it appears without ice, is really remarkable. That kind of detail wasn't confirmed until much later with modern seismic surveys.
So are we talking about some kind of ancient advanced civilization with incredible cartographic skills, or maybe contact with other cultures that had already explored these regions?
Well, some researchers like Charles Hapgood have theorized that ancient civilizations might have possessed advanced surveying and mapping techniques, even suggesting the possibility of a global civilization with knowledge that's been largely lost to us.
Wow, that's a pretty mind-blowing concept.
It is. And whether or not you buy into that theory, the Puri Race map certainly forces us to reconsider the history of exploration and cartography and the potential for knowledge transfer across vast distances and time periods.
It's like we're only seeing a tiny fragment of the whole picture.
Exactly. Okay, so for our final enigma, let's turn our attention to something that sparked endless debate and intrigue. The Shroud of Turin.
Okay, so this one's a bit different from the others. It's not so much about technology or lost civilizations, but more about faith history and the intersection of the two.
And the enduring power of mystery, I'd say.
Absolutely. So for those who might not know, the Shroud of Turin is a linen cloth that bears the image of a crucified man, and the big question is it the burial shroud of Jesus Christ,
Which would make it an incredibly significant religious relic.
right? Or is it a clever medieval forgery,
Yeah.
something created centuries later?
That's the debate that's raged for centuries. And what's so fascinating is that even with modern scientific analysis, we still don't have a definitive answer.
Yeah. Carbon dating has produced conflicting results, and the way the image was created still can't be fully explained by the artistic techniques of the time.
So it remains this kind of tantalizing puzzle. It exists in this space where faith, science, and history all collide.
And regardless of your personal beliefs, it's hard to deny the power of the object itself and the questions it raises about its authenticity, its origins, and the events surrounding its creation.
It really speaks to the human desire to connect with the past and to grapple with the big questions of life and death.
Absolutely. So looking back at all five of these enigmas, what are some of the big takeaways for you? What themes or ideas really stand out?
Well, for me, it's a powerful reminder that we don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
Our understanding of the past is constantly evolving, and these objects, they challenge our assumptions about what ancient civilizations were capable of.
Totally.
Right.
They make you realize how much we still don't know and how much might have been lost or forgotten over time.
Right. It's like we're constantly piecing together a giant puzzle with lots of missing pieces. And these objects, they give us glimpses of those missing pieces. They hint at lost technologies, forgotten languages, and levels of sophistication that we're only just beginning to grasp.
Yeah, it's like these objects are whispering secrets from the past, and it's up to us to try and decipher them.
Exactly. So, for our listeners out there who are clearly as fascinated by these historical mysteries as we are, what advice would you give them? How can they dive deeper into these enigmas?
Well, I think one of the most important things is to be open-minded and curious. Don't limit yourself to just one perspective or one area of study.
I agree. These mysteries often require an interdisciplinary approach. You might need to delve into history, archaeology, engineering, astrophysics, even linguistics, depending on what you're exploring.
Right, it's about connecting the dots between different fields and looking for those unexpected connections.
And don't be afraid to question the established narratives. Be critical of your sources and consider alternative interpretations.
Exactly. Sometimes those alternative interpretations can lead to some really groundbreaking insights.
And don't underestimate the value of hands-on experience. Trying to recreate something like the Antikythera mechanism using the tools and materials that were available at the time can give you a whole new appreciation for the skills and ingenuity of its creators.
That's a great point. It's one thing to read about it, but it's another thing entirely to try and actually build it.
And for those who are interested in the Voynich manuscript and other undeciphered texts, stay up to date on the latest developments in cryptography and linguistics.
Right, who knows? Maybe someone out there listening to this will be the one to finally crack the code.
It's possible.
Yeah.
And remember, technology is constantly evolving, so keep an eye on how advancements in 3D scanning, carbon dating, and DNA analysis are being used to shed new light on these ancient objects.
Science is giving us new tools all the time to unlock the secrets of the past.
Exactly. And one last piece of advice. Don't be afraid to connect with other people who share your passion for these mysteries. There are amazing online communities and forums dedicated to exploring these enigmas. You'll find people sharing their research, their theories, and their perspectives. It's a great way to learn from others and maybe even contribute your own ideas to the ongoing search for answers.
Yeah, collaboration is key. Sometimes a fresh set of eyes can spot something that everyone else has missed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep that sense of wonder alive.
I love that. So to wrap things up, I think it's safe to say that these enigmatic artifacts serve as powerful reminders that history is not a closed book. It's an ongoing investigation filled with surprises and unanswered questions.
Absolutely. And each of these objects invites us to approach the past with a sense of humility, curiosity, and a healthy dose of skepticism.
It's not about finding all the answers right away. It's about
Yeah.
embracing the journey of discovery and being open to the possibility that what we think we know might be completely wrong.
Exactly. And who knows what other incredible mysteries are still out there waiting to be uncovered? What other seemingly impossible achievements lie hidden in the historical record, just waiting for the right person with the right tools and the right perspective to come along and decipher them?
That's the beauty of history. It's full of endless possibilities, and each new discovery has the potential to rewrite our understanding of the past.
So, to our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep digging, and never stop asking questions.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to make the next groundbreaking discovery.
Until next time, keep those minds curious.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive into the mysteries of the past.
It's been a pleasure.
And as always, keep searching for those aha moments.
They're out there waiting to be found.
We'll see you next time.
Until then,
Bye.
bye.